Okay, how's everybody doing? Okay, so I'm going to paint the surface now, and it's going to be a layered approach. And let me just talk about this for a minute. Okay, so ever since I sort of retired from my professional career, I just decided to break all the rules. Like, what I mean by that is I had a system back then because it was important so you could reproduce the same result with colors and things like that. But I would always experiment and try different things because it always advances your color experience. I say experience because theory and all that is really sort of intangible. It's just thoughts and ideas behind. Like, there's the color wheel, which I don't bother with anymore because is preliminary to me. But I encourage people to look at the color wheel and try to understand what basically cool colors and warm colors are. So I want a little bit of a mix of both here, but I want a warmer kind of, like, it's going to be asphalt, not concrete. But I'm going to use initially lighter colors. So I'm going to lay light down with some earth around the edge of the right-of-way and the track. And then I'm going to use varathane as a top glaze clear coat. And then I'm going to put darker colors and work to a blue-gray asphalt. And then do patchwork and all the other stuff later. It's all process, right? Base coat, seal with varathane for light refraction. I'll show you that on a diagram. Okay, so the idea is you put a paint layer on, you put a clear coat, varathane, water-based, cheaper than hobby paint by far. And then another color on top, and then a clear coat, and then another color on top. So you get this light playing through the pigments. And the clear coats act as sort of magnifiers. It's hard to explain, but it changes the look. Like, especially when you see it live, it's hard on social media to show that, but you can describe it, and then you can show the method. But when you're at it live and it's all flat coated and detailed, it just looks so awesome because of the depth that it creates. But anyway, so I'm going to begin with JN Gray XF12 here. I just mixed it with 70% alcohol. I can't find my 99 right now. I know I have some, but... And then Earth XF52 around the edge here. And I'll show you pics later, but I used crackle paste along here in variations, and boy, does it ever look good. And the paint's going to enhance that. But, we'll visit that a little bit down the road. We'll have a look at some of those details as the scene begins to come alive with paint and process and so on. So I'm just going to basically just take JN Gray. And remember how I said earlier about breaking the rules? Like, I don't want to do the same thing the same way over and over again. I find that boring. That's the way I've been my whole career, and it's always worked out pretty good for me. Yeah, you get the odd muddy day, but it doesn't happen that often, especially if you let each layer dry and then put another filter or glaze or wash. They're all one and the same. It's all sfumato, right? From the Renaissance, really softening the hard edges. So I'm just going to pour some paint on like this. All right. Just like the Jackson Pollock, right? No, I don't think so. But just pour it on. Anyway, I'm going to bring some water up here. And I'm going to just introduce some water. And I'm just going to move this paint around, okay? Across the whole surface with lots of water. And even if there is some flood marks like that, good. Like these. I'm going to let that soak in a bit. Because this acrylic finish is not really like plaster, it's different. It's already kind of sealed, but it leaves a thin layer on top that helps with the plaster, or sorry, the texture, like the way it absorbs paint. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover this up, and I'm going to add more earth along the track side here. And then I'm going to seal it with varathane. Okay, just cover the whole surface with Jan gray, a little bit of earth here and there. Just be random. Like don't get caught up in the minutia of process. Just have fun. Use lots of water. Don't worry about it. It's only pavement. Scenery is the best way to build confidence up with paint and layering, because you can spill it all day long. You can cover a bit here with static grass, do a bit of gravel here. That's how you get your confidence, and that's how you learn about color theory the easier way, right? Because you see it all happening on a bigger scale, and if you fail or make mistakes or spill, it doesn't matter, right? Okay, here's a bit closer. So the advantage to IPA and water is they both react differently. So when you're rubbing and moving the Tamiya paint around, it's leaving all kinds of random streaks, which is what you want. You want it to be sloppy and random, because that's the way cement is or asphalt is. If you walk a parking lot and just look down, or look at some Google Earth images, like show me one parking lot that looks the same as the other. Okay, so you can see that this is just these two colors and a bit of this brown. So XF12JN gray and a little bit of flat earth around the edges, and then just kept spreading it around with water. I've seen people or watched people try to do this, and I don't know how it turns out for them, but one thing I noticed, they don't use enough water. It's like they're afraid of water or something, right? Like, I don't know what it is. Like, what are you afraid of? It's just going to evaporate. And if you have solid bench work, it's just going to absorb and dry out, like overnight, like in no time. So put more water on. Because if you don't, like, that's how you get this blending, right? And you can wash it out and move it around. And if there's a bit of alcohol in it, it'll cut into other colors and blend those too for you. You just use a wide brush. And then what I decided was I would just use some of the 71.042 dark brown. It had it kicking around. You know, I thought, I'll just try it. So now I got a little bit of a dirty gray. This would almost pass for cement. Like I'd almost seal this and then do patchwork and, you know, from plumbing and construction later. But this is a good base for cement. But I'm going to tone this to blue, like a blue-gray, because I want asphalt, okay? So after I'm happy with this, I'll probably seal this, or I might put on maybe just another wash of dark sea gray when this dries before I decide to seal it with varathane, which is a satin, right? And then I can put other washes on, even oils if I want. Take it as far as you want to go, right? I just go, and then when I feel it clicks, I stop. right? It's like there's no ABC to this. That's the beauty of model railroading when you're doing a lot of scenery and a lot of, horizontal scenery, like flat surfaces. You can just go at it and throw stuff, walk away, come back. You don't like it, try another color, right? As long as it's thin and lots of water, you're not going to wreck it. It's just going to create another filter. And if you don't like it, change it. Try something else until it clicks. That's how you learn. You'll never learn anything if you just catalog everything. Say, oh, I'll just catalog it and then do all this and it'll work out just like Boomer, No, don't do just what Boomer does. Do what you do, right? Everyone's different. That's the beauty of the human reality of each individual. Everybody has a creative spark in them when they start mixing paint. And a lot of it is just, a lot of this paint cult out there, it's just a lot of hogwash. There's the guru black magic stuff. I've been in this game. I've mixed more paint than most hobbyists, okay, at every level, in theater, film, and all that. And the guys and women actually that taught me said muddy water. Learned the art of muddy water. But don't make it muddy, but learn the art of it. There's some processes like let each layer dry after all. Put 2 or 3 on wet, let it dry. So when you do put water and acrylic over top, it won't cut away and reblend the bottom, or seal it with the varathane. That's where some of the best movie effects of models that you can't tell is real. This is how they do realistic painting, not the comic book heavy opaque. Like there's that style out there where it's not even realistic, but it looks great, especially for media and live too, because it pops, right? But it doesn't, like concrete and vehicles, things like they don't look like that in the real world, right? They're filtered out. They're desaturated, right? This oversaturation of painting a model is a style. That's all it is, right? So I'm going to put a few drops like this. Okay, that's all you do on a wet surface, right? And I'm going to put some water back here. Make sure the brush is wet too, and then just grab it and just pull it like that. Okay, just start pulling it. Add more water. Don't let it dry. I probably don't have enough water here, so I'm just going to keep doing that. Try to stroke the full length of the pavement. And watch what happens when the water settles. It leaves these little spots, really cool asphalt type spots. Okay, I'm going to do a bit more. Have fun. Like Jackson Pollock did this, He decided to lay the canvas down flat on its back instead of on an easel, right? Well, there was more to it than that, but